Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Factor Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a brand new week. This is Monday, the 14th of November. We are getting ready to talk about the NFL and everything that went down yesterday. Talking to my man, The Dream. Kid, what is up?
Oh, what is up? What is up? What is up? A little bit salty.
Oh.
Give me S-A-L-T-Y.
S-A-L-T-Y. A little salty today, but hey, it is what it is, and we will keep rocking and get ready for the new week here. But we got to recap the NFL. We got to do what's called Monday Morning Quarterback and have a conversation about everything that went down. And where do you want to get started, Dream?
Dude, I don't know. Just first of all, the first thing out of my mouth is I think about this thing and I go down, and you guys know I'm a little bit animated this morning as I'm a little bit salty about yesterday, but the NFL, man, and I got a passion for football. I love football. It's going to be a lot to get me not to do football. A lot. It will take a lot. However, the NFL is flirting with me going to the mall on Sunday.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, even though I was on the wrong side of the game, that Dallas-Pittsburgh game was great.
Oh, but Rams Jets wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Imagine if you sat in the cold and watched that game. Actually, it was pretty nice out yesterday, but
don't get me wrong, Dallas-Pittsburgh was awesome, but out of all the games that the NFL had to put on yesterday, they had two really good games, and the rest was garbage.
Exactly. So let's kick it right off, Dream, and have a conversation about the Green Bay Packers, who have a losing record now. They're 4-5 on the year, 1-3 away, get blown out by the Tennessee Titans, who are 5-5. 47-25, Dream. Talk to me about that.
And does anybody think that Green Bay's as bad as they are and that the Titans are as good as they are? And the answer should be no. If it is, then, like I said, I don't really know football anymore. Green Bay Packers are suffering from, I just don't know what their problem is, but I got to be honest with you. I keep looking towards the coach. Head coaching, assistant coaches, on down, the leadership there. Something is lacking in this team because even without a running game, even without some of your defensive pieces in place, you're still a much better team, and there's much better product than what you're putting out there. And I can't put my finger on it, but I have to look at the coaching staff right now.
Well, you know what? James Starks was their leading rusher with 33 yards, Dream. They're not running the ball.
Well, I mean, Starks isn't 100%. I mean, we know Starks isn't 100%. The defense gave up 21 points in the first quarter, so there was not really a whole.
Yeah, he couldn't really rush that much.
A lot of time to be hitting the ball.
Very good point. And looking at what Aaron Rodgers did, I mean, I did have him as far as daily fantasy yesterday, and he was a beast. I think I had over 32 points to be exact with him, but you know what? The rest of my players weren't really that good. But you know what? Hey, DeMarco Murray ran. I mean, Green Bay Packers were one of the best rush defenses in the NFL going into the last few weeks. And, DeMarco Murray, 123 yards, averaged 7.2 yards per carry yesterday, Dream.
We talked about DeMarco Murray at the beginning of the season. I've been talking about him throughout the season as being an incredible additive to this team. This guy, I didn't think DeMarco Murray had a lot left in the tank, and I thought a lot of his success in Dallas was because of the offensive line, but he's showing that he's the real deal Holyfield, so to say. Dude's been getting it done in impressive fashion. I happen to have him on my fantasy team in the league that I'm in, which we can discuss a little bit of the antics that's going on in there a little bit later on in this program. But he's carried my team.
Carried your team.
And yesterday, huge day for him, and I won yesterday. But DeMarco Murray has carried my team.
You had the over in that game, right?
I did have the over, and thank God I switched. It was a last-minute switch because I did like Green Bay initially, and I flip-flopped it, and I said, dude, why do you want to get involved with a team on the road? Why don't you get somebody that's home? And then I said, you know what? Both these teams are going to score. Titans love to score a lot of points. Packers will score some. Just go with the over. Throw the over in your tees, and I had the over in this particular matchup.
All right, well, good for you. Moving on here, the Minnesota Vikings have lost 4 straight games, are 2-3 on the road, and lose to the Washington Redskins. You and I were both on the Redskins to win this game, and it was a little bit of a stomach ache. Sam Bradford actually had 307 yards passing, but Minnesota Vikings now, Dream, after starting 5-0, are now 0-4. Is anybody still beating their chests and calling the Minnesota Vikings to be a Super Bowl team?
The Minnesota Vikings people have calmed down, which is cool. I like that. Get back in your place. And the Minnesota Vikings have come back to reality of what's going on there. This game was a stomach ache, and it shouldn't have been. The Redskins gave up 2 touchdowns. Actually, 20 points in that 3 touchdowns. I think they missed the extra. Yeah, they missed the field goal, the extra point. The Redskins gave up 3 touchdowns in that second quarter, in the second quarter.
20 points.
Yeah, that they shouldn't have given up. At least 2 of them should not have been given up. And this game would have not even have been a stomachache. I mean, the Redskins came out to a commanding 14-0 lead right out of the gate and looked like they were about to run away with it. Then you saw a little bit of their lack of discipline and lack of focus and detail and attention to detail come into play in the second quarter. They pulled it back in the third and the fourth, and their defense was absolutely disruptive as far as Bradford was concerned. Bradford's offensive line did provide him a little bit with more protection than in the past, but, like I said, the guy's not surrounded by the greatest athletes in the world either, and the Redskins were able to get this thing done.
Right on. So right now they're 5-3-1, and still in the running for the NFC East title. So we'll see how that shakes out. Looking at the rest of it here, the Bears are 2-7, 0-5 on the road, and get murdered by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay 4-5 on the year, Dream.
The NFL parts ways with certain people, certain players, and I know most of it has had to do with, in general, their off-the-field performances. It may be time to part ways with the guy because of his on-the-field performances as being booty, and that would be Jay Cuddles, because, dude, Cutler was absolutely horrific yesterday. It had, you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember Jake Delhomme?
Shaky Jake?
Shaky Jake. It had reminiscence of Jake Delhomme yesterday. This game was absolutely awful. He threw interception after interception after interception. Just the body language, the movement. And I know some people want to reroute him to another team. I don't know, man. Cutler's been on a few teams. He's been around for a long time now. I just don't know if this guy... that heart of the champion thing, I don't think so.
It depends, because you know what? Versus the Minnesota Vikings the other night, I mean, he had a little bit of what's the word? A little bit of passion.
It still wasn't dazzling.
No, it wasn't. I mean, he's just tapping people on the head. That was his passion. That was it. But you know what? 16 for 30, 182 yards, passer rating of 55.1. So not all that as far as his numbers were concerned.
I think that Cuddles might have took the little bus to school, like everybody on the big bus. Cut was waiting at home with his folks.
Right on.
And the little bus pulled up for him and he ran out and jumped on it.
Kid, I want to know what the hell happened to Carolina yesterday.
All right, what happened to Carolina is
17-3 at the half. Thinking that, they're in cruise control, no scoring in the third. I said this would be a low-scoring game. And Kansas City scores 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter and wins the game and shocks the world.
Yeah, but the Panthers, you know what? They get up, they get their lead, they start getting comfortable, and then they want to play around and they want to get cute. Instead of pressing it, and trying to win, they want to get cute. And you know what? I saw a lot of Kansas City Chief players inspired to do that Cam Newton nonsense, because Cam did one after he scored on one of his plays. He did one of these everybody hold on, and then he did his little bow thing. After every time they sacked him or something happened, the Kansas City, that kind of stuff, it just motivates the other play. Dude will not get it.
He won't.
My thing with Cam Newton, I was talking to somebody in the nation yesterday about Cam Newton. The thing that irks me the most about him, if he just changed some of that crap, he would be just one of the great. I mean, the dude is incredibly talented, an incredible athlete and ambassador. If he would change some of his ways, he would be just a class act. I mean, he would just be that classy guy that you're like, wow, this guy's and you would actually feel bad about Cam losing a game like yesterday, because guess what? When you look at yesterday's game, you look at the Chiefs beating him and how they did it, does anybody feel bad about it? No.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I love the press conference. All the reporters, which he doesn't want to come out and see, are all giggling behind his back because he acts like an idiot all the time. So nobody feels bad for, like, I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. I want to figure out what's wrong for Aaron Rodgers because it's a class act. Nobody feels bad for Cam Newton.
I just can't believe they lost the game. I never saw that coming. I thought they had it. You know, and you pointed out a good point there. It's that they always, it seems like even going back to last year where they would have these commanding leads and just can't close it out, Dream.
I think they just take, like I said, I think they get up and they think they got cruise control and they take their attention off of the focus. And, you know, I want to say, I'm not going to call their coaching an issue because they're just dealing with what they got to deal with. And I feel like Cam Newton is just, and I've always felt this about this team. I talked about it last year about them with their playground style and lack of, I don't know, intensity or whatever you want to call it. But I shouldn't say intensity. That's a bad word to use. Just their playground style and some of their antics to me, I think they lose focus on the real, what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. So moving on here, Dream, let's have a conversation about the Atlanta Falcons who go into Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I told you, is a beast at home, 4-0 at home. 5-4 overall, and win by 9 points, 24-15. They hold Matt Ryan at 267 yards and held that offense to 15 points.
Yeah, Philadelphia looks good. There's still a lot of issues with Philadelphia. We knew the Falcons' defense is not that good. You expected the Falcons to try to outscore them. Philly's red zone offense is something to raise an eyebrow to. They show an inconsistency to be able to be effective in their red zone offense, probably from as far as the 25 on in. I see a lot of issues with Philly. A lot of times they have to settle for field goals, even going for it on fourth down, which they don't seem to get for some reason. But whatever their play calling is in the red zone, it's definitely becoming an issue that you keep seeing week in and week out. This week they were able to overcome it. But the Falcon defense is not one of the better defenses in the NFL. And right now in the NFC, you know, the Eagles, only 2 teams are coming out of that NFC. And I don't necessarily know the Eagles is the number 2 team. I mean, hands down now, Dallas is number 1. All right. I mean, barring any great injuries, and that's a whole lot of people are going to have to get hurt. But barring any big injuries, I would say that Dallas is definitely coming out the NFC East number 1. I don't know that the Eagles can get that number 2 spot.
We'll have to have that conversation because, I mean, you got the Giants, you got the Redskins. I mean, just Philadelphia at home they're just really, really good at home. And
they don't play every game at home.
I know, exactly. That's the problem. Exactly. Moving on here, let's have a conversation about an awful game that went down yesterday in New York as the Rams are victorious with 3 field goals. That's it. 9-6 victory over the New York Jets, Dream.
And if the NFL wants to understand why maybe ratings are down, look no further than this game right here, as who in the world wanted to sit through this mess? I mean, absolutely mess. The Rams stink. The Jets stink. Bowles with the grin on his face the whole time. Yeah. You know, this game, I honestly think Fitzpatrick could have won this game for them.
Maybe.
If he came in, I would have threw him in the fourth quarter, personally. I would have been like, all right, look, we need the win. Go in and get the win, and we'll discuss your future moving forward, because the game was right there for the Jets to take. I will give the Jets a nod about their defense. Their defense did at least step up and stop a putrid Ram offense. But, dude, it's just these 2 teams are bad.
I get it. So 9-6 overall, and if you went to that game, I feel bad for you. If you spent all that money to watch the New York Jets lose by a field goal, you probably get more excitement out of some baseball games than that. Dream, you were right about the Broncos. I was wrong. Broncos get it done 25-23 over Breezy in New Orleans in the Superdome. Saints are 4-5 now. Broncos are 7-3. Drew Breezy did have 303 yards on that defense. They did move the ball up and down the field, though. You got to give it to him.
Well, it's Drew Brees. I mean, he's gonna Drew Brees the third best quarterback.
Yeah, I got the idea.
All right, so please let's let Breezy do his thing a little bit. A lot of weapons on this team. Sean Payton's one of the better coaches in the NFL, I think, as well. So the game plan was fundamentally sound. One thing that you have to discuss with this game, the Denver Bronco defense. I don't care what anybody says. That is the best defense in the NFL. I'm sorry. Listen, you could Seattle me to death. You could K-sizzle me all you want. This Bronco defense, missing Akeem Talib, that is a good defense.
I agree.
They keep their offense in a position to win games, and that is a good defense. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about is anybody who played football, I know you had this guy that said to you, wear white cleats. If you tried to wear black cleats, he always wanted to tape them up white. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about, and you're giggling right now. And this game is the absolute reason why. Because when your foot is out of bounds, if you got white cleats on, you're going to get away with a little bit of work.
Oh, I know.
Because the Denver Bronco, I can't think of his name, I'm sorry. I feel like his foot was out of bounds, and they let him get away with it.
He was out of bounds. There wasn't conclusive evidence to overturn the call. There wasn't. I mean, because they had, and you know what? I always said this. How come they don't have a couple of cameras right along the chalk on the sides of the field? I understand not having it above in the middle because, punts could hit it and stuff like that, but why not along the sides of the field, Dream, so you could have a camera angle just shooting straight down?
Pat, there's so much technology that I think the NFL could employ in their games. When you look at some of the stuff that the NFL is still using, bean bags, chains.
I know.
I mean, it's like, dude, you guys could come up with nothing better than this stuff to work with. I mean, what about, okay, everybody got a garage door opener, right? Yeah. What about that little laser eye thing that runs all up and down the sideline? So if he crosses the line, it just goes off saying he's out of, I mean, there's so much technology that the NFL probably could employ that they still haven't. I mean, we still love the game, but in this case, I think that this guy's, and to me, they say it wasn't definitive. Every shot I saw of it, it looked pretty definitive to me, but I don't know. It seemed like, listen, the refs always manage to find a way to put their stamp on Sunday that lets you know that they were at the games, and this is one of the ones I definitely think they missed this call. Feel bad for Breezy and company losing in this fashion, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, but I could have sworn he was out of bounds, too.
I thought it was out of bounds, too. I thought it was definitive. I didn't think it was. And my whole thing was with him, too. And the reason why I would have called it out of bounds if I was the ref, he didn't even have to run over that far to the sidelines. I'm like, why does he keep running to this? Where is he going? I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching, why is he running so close to the sideline? It wasn't even a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Right on. So looking at the rest of it here, looking at the Texans, who are now 6-3, who beat the 2-7 Jags. Stream. I don't know if people out there still betting the Jags.
Another incredible, great game to not watch right here. Just some of these games, I don't know why they even put them on. I don't know if people are still talking about the Jags. If they are, please stop.
Yeah, exactly, because you are losing your shirt. And there's really not much to recap on that game outside of Blake Bortles having a couple of touchdown passes, and we'll go from there. But, Dream, the Miami Dolphins won 4 games in a row now, brother.
Ugh, and I knew I'd have to hear about this. Yes. And the San Diego Chargers continue to cover the over. Yeah. But you know what? I might just start just doing totals, to be honest with you. It might be time for me to leave these sides alone and do totals, as you just don't know what you're going to get week in and week out. Ajay was kept in check, though, at 19 carries for 79 yards. That's pretty much in check for him.
Still not bad, though. They still had, between everybody, 106 yards. Yeah, I mean, they did keep him in check, but, I mean, Ryan Tannehill only had 240 yards. The key ingredient to their success was the Kiko Alonso run back, the pick 6. Phillip Rivers had 4 interceptions, Dream. Every time the red zone turned this game on, he was throwing a pick. Every single time, because, I couldn't watch this game. I was watching it on the red zone. But congratulations to the Miami Dolphins, and Dream, I believe this will be a 10-6 team.
Pat, this game was on at 4 o'clock. Is there any reason why you were watching it? It was on at 4 o'clock when the Dallas.
I was watching the red zone. I was doing a red zone.
You didn't watch this Dallas-Pittsburgh game?
No, I watched a lot of it because that had a lot of red zone stuff going on. But
oh my God!
No, but between this one and the Pittsburgh game, the red zone did a pretty good job switching back and forth between the two. To be honest with you, but Dream, I got to tell you something. I mean, now.
Oh, stop!
No, I'm just saying. Listen to me and listen to me good. Okay, so looking at the Miami Dolphins schedule, okay, this is why they're a 10-6 team. I'm going to tell you. They got to play at the Rams next week. I think they could win that game.
Loss.
Stop. You said they were going to lose yesterday.
And they should have.
They got the Niners at home.
They'll beat the Niners, unfortunately.
They'll beat the Niners, right? Okay. They got to play at Baltimore. That's going to be a tough game. But then they got Arizona at home. They got to play at the Jets.
Loss.
Oh, stop. At the Bills.
Loss.
And then the last game of the season's in Miami, probably playing a Patriots team that does not have to play for anything. They'll probably be sitting everybody. It's a 10-6 team, Dream, I'm telling you. Moving on here. Let's have a
the one thing inviting about the Miami Dolphins being 10-6 is they will get in the playoff and probably a wild card position, and we definitely will bet the other way extensively.
Not if they got to go to Houston or something like that.
God, I know, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Watch out. Watch out for the Miami Dolphins. Dream, I finally have to give some credit where credit's due here.
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys murdered my day yesterday. And I had the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? I think the third or fourth time I was texting you, I wanted to throw up all over my living room watching Big Ben and Tomlin go for 4 unsuccessful times in this game. Kid, come on.
Well, here's my thing.
What are you doing in the beginning of the game? Stop.
Play Cleveland Browns. If you play the Tennessee Titans, if you play the Washington Redskins, Chicago Bears, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Falcons, maybe even the Jets and the Saints. All right. Matter of fact, let's turn it another way. If you're playing anybody other than the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Broncos, don't go for 2.
I don't get it.
You're playing the Dallas Cowboys, who come in with one of the best records, with the best record in football right now. The best record. They have 1 loss. Okay? This is a serious game for you. All right? One of the most important games of your season. You're in the midst of a losing streak that you're trying to, catch your feet. You're playing a serious game. Why in the hell would you even flirt with trying to go for 2 points rather than what? That makes 0 sense. I don't want to hear nothing about accountability of players. I don't want to hear nothing about, this guy did something and got a penalty and it's wrong. No. All that did happen and all that is messed up. But first and foremost, and I don't care that you said that you were going to do that, at the beginning of the season, and all that stuff changes in this particular game.
Hold on 1 second, Dream. Sorry about this. Give me 1 second, guys. Looks like I got a virus, kid. Wow. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize about that. Just give me 1 second. Let me try to get rid of this. Wow. All right. It's over, Dream. I got rid of it. Wow.
The computer felt the same way about me.
That was like Tomlin calling for 2 the whole time.
It was like Tomlin calling for. I mean, that sets this. Let me just, because I'm obviously animated about this, and I had the Cowboys. I knew not to go against the Cowboys yesterday because you just can't, as far as I'm concerned. But here's the deal: going for 2 was so disrespectful. Right. Okay, right out of the gate. All right, that's you slapping the Dallas Cowboys in the face and giving them a little extra motivation now to play because you went for 2 on them first play. Oh, they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's how they feel about us? I mean, you don't ever want to give a professional athlete that's supposedly on the same level of you any more moxie or any more intensity to try to beat you in a game because they're not going to give up. You just don't want to do like it's like touching Michael Jordan on his head, on the top of his head or something. You know what I mean? While you're guarding him. Like the guy when he was blowing LeBron. Remember your boy blowing LeBron?
Yeah.
Both Broward is standing next to him. I mean, it's like you're giving them a reason to try to get it even more popping. And that's what they did in this situation. That was a serious, serious error.
It was. And they did it 4 times.
And then when you don't get the first one, then you chase the 2 points the whole damn game.
Right, exactly. I mean, we've seen this problem with the Oregon Ducks in college football, where you know what, you want to go for 2 and then you don't get it. Then you want to go for 2 and you don't get it. And sure enough, now you're playing catch up the entire game. I just don't understand it, Dream. I was furious with this game. And then on top of it, on top of the whole thing, guys, I was given 2 points. So every time Pittsburgh would take the lead, it was by 1. So I had no shot whatsoever, Dream, at covering this game.
It kept screwing up the points. The points got really skewed by the end of the game. It kept screwing up. So now, we look at the end game here. And at the end game, the first thing I say, well, first of all, the first thing I'm thinking is, one, Dallas's end game, I'm like, they gave Pittsburgh back the ball with too much time left. They had an ability, when Dallas got their first down, they had an ability to run the clock pretty much out.
Yeah, I think that Pittsburgh let them score quickly.
And somebody in the nation, I think Jonesy in the nation tweeted that, dude, watching Pittsburgh play and watching their defense, I'm sorry, I don't really think Pittsburgh's defense is all that intelligent enough to do that.
You don't think so, huh?
I don't know. I don't think they let them score intentionally. I think they just got burnt in that play, but maybe they did. But I'm still saying to myself, Dallas, I know Dallas handed the ball, which was the right way to go, but I'm saying, they kind of gave Pittsburgh too much time. Then Pittsburgh gets the ball, they score again, and I'm like, okay, well, it all ends, but everybody's still getting screwed on the number because they're still chasing the 2 points.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I thought the money line that too, and I said, what's 2 points? It's under the field goal. Let me do it. And sure enough, I had no shot of winning that at the end of the game. No
doubt. And then this last play, obviously, you get the penalties with the lack of discipline, and you put basically Dallas, in field goal range.
Right.
I tell you, that's rough loss. The only thing I will say, though, Dallas Cowboys, hats off to the Dallas Cowboys. And once again, Dallas Cowboys, you can thank your owner, Jerry Jones, who you complained about for the past 4 years of being an idiot. Thank him for putting together that incredibly impressive offensive line. That, as impressive as the Dallas offensive line is, I saw a lot of holding yesterday.
There was a lot of holding.
A lot of holding by this Dallas offensive line. Everybody's talking about it's so good. They did a lot of holding. So, and I think Pittsburgh also gave you a little bit of a blueprint to some weaknesses that the Cowboys may have. Great win by Dallas. Can't take nothing away from them. But the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not the best defense in the NFL by any means. I don't even think close. So I think they showed an ability to somewhat contain Dallas, and they showed a couple of weak spots in Dallas that Dallas will move forward. Big game by Dez Bryant. I'm mixed with Dez. I like Dez, but I don't. But big game by him, so hats off to him on his game. Made some really great catches at really key times of the game. And Dak Prescott continues to be a really bright spot with this team. Hey, they said that Romo's the backup for now, so everybody's got what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And Dez was playing some pretty inspired football yesterday, as his father had passed away this week as well. So, my man DJ 100 Grand is showing me a bunch of different Cowboy pictures, man. So that's cool. But you know what? And I do got to give credit where credit is due to Dallas. I mean, the running game, Zeke is Dream. The guy's the real deal. He's good. I mean, we watched him in The Ohio State University tear it up, and he's doing the same thing in the NFL, and he's got that offensive line, and you got to give it to Dak Prescott as well. I mean, he threw that bomb to Dez. He did pretty damn good. I thought it was going to be a long day for him after the first drive when he fumbled, but they stormed back and got it done. Now, the problem is Pittsburgh Steelers defense stinks, and the Dallas Cowboy defense is not all that either. So if they're going to face a very good rush defense, you're going to force Dak to throw the ball, and he's going to have to beat you with his arm. So I'm waiting to see that, but I got to say, I mean, the Cowboys got the best record in football right now, so you got to pay them attention just a touch. And
Cowboys have best record in football. I have to pay them attention, but just a touch. But I hear in your voice what you probably hear in my voice, and I've been saying all along, don't you just feel like they're going to go to the playoffs and get beat?
First round. A wild card team knocks them off.
Don't you just feel like you know what?
I do, man. And guys, I hate to say that, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of you guys are beating your chest this morning, but I feel it, Dream. I really do.
I feel it too. They just remind me Arizona-ish. They just feel Arizona-ish to me for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Cincinnati Bengal-ish.
You know what I'm saying? Something about them. I just feel like Cowboy fans going to have their mouths stuck.
I know.
Stupid, but well, we'll see moving forward. We'll see what happens. And by the way, in this NFL, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Exactly. Moving on, Dream. The 49ers are 1-8. 8 losses, man. And they actually fought pretty hard in Arizona in the desert. And you know what? They made it a little closer than you would have thought it would have been.
Yeah, I thought Eddie DeZizer was going to blow him out, and it looked like it got off to that start. Larry Fitzgerald did get hurt in this game and had to leave the game. And by the way, he was having – I don't know if they hurt him on purpose because he was having a monster-ass game.
Well, he always tears up the Niners. I've seen this rivalry time and time again, and I've seen Larry Fitzgerald just go bananas on this 49ers team. Time and time again, Dream. And you know what? Hey, maybe they had a little something dialed up to take him out of the game.
I don't know what happened, but listen, the Niners is really not a whole hell of a lot to talk about. Guys, if you picked up Michael Floyd yesterday, as I recommended, 5 catches for 101 yards, not too shabby. Matter of fact, started off the game really hot. If he had got 1 touchdown, it would have been a stellar call with Michael Floyd because, I mean, I would imagine if you had him in your free agency pool, it probably was a nice pickup to put in your team. And if you played him in daily fantasy, what did Floyd cost? Like 25 cents?
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, 5 receptions, 101 yards, averaged 20.2 yards per catch. Not bad.
Not bad at all. The Niners, really not much to say here. I can't tell you anything about – I didn't watch not one snap.
I just watched a little bit of the Red Zone channel when they were flipping to this game, but there wasn't a lot of scoring, so it wasn't there that often. You know, obviously San Diego with Miami and Pittsburgh, Dallas was having a lot more action as far as that was concerned. And the final game on the ticket, Dream.
Oh, let me take
I did not play this game. I texted you during it. You know, even when New England was up 7-0, I thought New England was going to run away with this game. I really did. I didn't finish watching it. I think I watched the first half, and that was it. But Seattle Seahawks go into Gillette and win, Dream.
I did not feel like Seattle was going to run away. I mean, that the Patriots were going to run away with this game because when I saw the Patriots on defense and I saw an inability to get to Russell Wilson, I started saying, wait a minute. Because that game, from a defensive standpoint, right out of the gate, looked nothing like I expected it to look. And the Seahawks had success running the ball. They had success throwing the ball. They couldn't get to Russell Wilson. He had all day in the pocket. And I knew this was going to be an issue because I had not seen the Seahawks look this fluid the whole season. You're talking about a team that played the Arizona. Okay, let me put this in perspective because I know we got people out there who, I took the Seahawks, so I knew, okay, all right, cool. You knew the Seahawks were going to beat the Patriots. Okay, all right, keep telling me about that. All right, keep promoting that. Because the Seahawks, who played Arizona, who barely beat the 49ers yesterday to a tie, a 6-6 tie. This team could not get out of their own way. Russell Wilson would drop back in the pocket and get sacked before the 3-second when getting rid of the ball. None of these guys would catch the ball consistently. They couldn't move 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Now, all of a sudden, this team's doing drives up and down the field like the Seattle Seahawks of 2 years ago. It was just, dude, this game, watching it, I was so not able to understand what was wrong with the Patriot defense. We saw a couple lapses in their defense last year and last season, and I think we saw a lapse in their defense a couple of games this season, but they were able to overcome it with a lot more offense. But this game, dude, the defense was bad.
I know. You know what? I saw it where Seattle was doing their thing. I turned it on. All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, they're up. And sure enough, they ended up getting the job done. So that's a surprising loss for the Patriots. I would expect the Patriots to bounce back next week and go bananas.
Every time the Patriots scored, the Seahawks went right down the field and scored. It was like one of those things, like who's going to get the ball last. And then, I don't know if you're aware of this. I know you're not because you didn't watch and you went to bed. But in the fourth quarter, when it was the Patriots' turn with the lead, they had the ball and would go up more. Edelman fumbled the ball.
Really?
Yeah, Edelman fumbled the ball. Seattle got the ball at the midfield and was able to take the ball, and they were able to score. And my other thing with Seattle is Seattle's the king of the field goals, and yesterday they were getting touchdowns when they usually get field goals also, and that wasn't helping out New England's cause as well. Then what was cute was at the end of this game, Seattle scores their last touchdown. They go for 2.
Really?
Instead of making this game 8, because it would have been 8. Seattle would have ended up 8. Instead of making it 8, they went for 2 to go up 9.
That's stupid.
Okay, which was asinine because the game almost went to overtime. So now the Patriots on their end drive the ball down the field. Now, here's my thing, and this is what, and I know guys who wake up this morning are like, the NFL's fixed, it's salty, I can't do it no more, whatever. Okay, listen, guess what? Usually I'll tell you to shut up, I don't want to hear that. I'm not going to tell you that today because I kind of understand how you could feel, because at the very end of this game, a bizarre bunch of actions went into place. First of all, Gronkowski they get a deep pass off the Gronkowski hat that, to me, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to say this, and somebody might have saw it better than me. I don't remember Gronkowski getting touched after he caught the ball and rolled into the pylon, which would have made this essentially a touchdown. But it was a funny play. I didn't get enough looks at it. I could be wrong. The commentators didn't talk about it. Cool, whatever. So now, Patriots got the ball, 1st and goal on the 1. LeGarrette Blount gets the ball hat. All he has to do is take his hands. He jumps up and gets to the top of the pile. If he takes his hand and he outstretches the ball like we see them do week in and week out, it's a touchdown because all you got to do is break the plane. And he clearly was like, his helmet was probably right on the plane. All you got to do is stick his hands out. He doesn't do that.
Wow.
Next play, they try to be cute and they want to run their quarterback sneak, which, by the way, they had tried that quarterback sneak earlier in this game. I think they ran that play 3 times in this game. One of the times they ran it, it looked real shaky, like it wasn't going to work. So I don't know why they would try to go back to that again, because it wasn't really working against Seattle. Anyway, they tried to run the quarterback sneak. Didn't like this play call. I would have gave it to LeGarrette Blount 3 times, maybe 4 times to try to get it up the middle. Brady fumbles the ball. Ball ends up moving back. They run a pass play that doesn't work. Now they get a 12 men on the field by Seattle, moves the ball back to the 1 yard line. Okay. Then they go to a pass to Gronk. But I know the refs don't want to call the play there. They don't want to call it there. I'm sorry, man. There was a lot of contact. Gronk's held. I mean, it could have been a flag all day on that play. I get that they didn't want to call it and end the game like that. Seattle, man, they benefit from, I don't know, non-calls and too many calls just too many times. I don't know what it is with the Seattle Seahawks and the damn officiating, but that just seems to be the nature of the beast for them. It's just a bad end game. And guys, remind yourselves of this. It would have brought the game into overtime. I wanted overtime because I had the Patriots plus 3.5. So most likely I would have won, but you necessarily might not have won the game even if the Patriots went into overtime anyway.
Got it. Exactly. All right, Dream. So moving on here. That's going to do it as far as the NFL is concerned. Well, obviously, we'll get into Monday Night Football in a few, but we got to talk about the college AP poll that's come out. Now, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to talk about the AP on Mondays and on Thursdays, obviously, what the playoff committee selects as far as their top 6 teams. But looking at it, Dream, here you go. Number 1, clearly Alabama, 10-0 record. Number 2 is The Ohio State University. Number 3 is Louisville. Those would have been our top 3 as far as selections right now, correct?
Definitely.
All right. So now here's where it gets fun. Michigan's number 4. So they only dropped 2 spots after that 2-point loss to Iowa. Number 5 is Clemson, 9-1. After the loss to Pittsburgh, Dream.
Sure.
I'm okay with the 5, to be honest with you.
I'm okay with it. If I would have did it, though, I would have made Michigan 5 and Clemson 4, but I'm okay with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I got...
It's Louisville, dude.
Next one.
Who did Michigan beat as good as Louisville?
Wisconsin. They're not as good as Louisville, though.
Thank you.
All right. Number 6 is Wisconsin, Dream. This team is in the driver's seat, baby.
I know.
The Wisconsin Badgers, guys, believe it or not, if you look at the Big Ten standings and how this all shakes out, if Wisconsin can win their next 2 games at Purdue, and then they got Minnesota at home, which I believe they'll be able to win those 2 games, but you never know when you travel on the road, they would be kings of the West as far as the Big Ten is concerned, and they would play either Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan. And it's crazy how it looks, because if Ohio State beats Michigan, they still may not play for a Big Ten Conference Championship, because Penn State, believe it or not, has the tiebreaker because they beat them. And Penn State, guys, they have to play at Rutgers and then at home versus Michigan State. I don't see them losing either one of them games, Dream. You could have a Big Ten championship game with Penn State versus Wisconsin, and the winner of that possibly making the playoff. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine that. I don't think it's going to go down quite like that, but I see it. It's all in front of us.
It is. It is what it is.
It's still not over, and a lot of stuff is still probably going to go down, though.
Right on. Well, I don't see Penn State losing either one of those 2 games. Looking at the rest of it here, the Pac-12, Washington is number 7, falling from number 4. Bad loss the other night.
Can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
Because you said you don't see Penn State losing any of those games. Did you see Michigan losing this weekend?
Home team underdog.
See Clemson losing this weekend?
No, I wasn't going there. I didn't see Clemson losing. I thought that game might be tighter than it,
You see Ohio State losing when they lost? I mean, every one of these 1 to 2 losses, we could sit here and say, I didn't see that coming.
All right, so Washington is number 7, and I got news for you. Washington needs to go into Washington State, and that's going to be a tough game. And I am not so... Dude, this Browning kid for Washington, I believe, is seriously overrated. I watched him the other night, man. I just was not impressed at all. Number 8, Oklahoma, Dream.
Okay.
All right. Number 9, Penn State. Number 10, West Virginia. Number 11, Utah. Number 12, Colorado. And when you look at this here, as far as the Pac is concerned, the winner of Washington and Washington State is going to play for the Pac-12 championship, and most likely going to be playing Colorado. If Colorado could get by their 2 games... The problem is that they have to play Washington State, but it's in Colorado. I think that's going to be a real good game. And it's going to be kind of turmoil at the end here. Oklahoma State, number 13. Western Michigan, number 14. Dream, there's only 2 undefeated teams left. Western Michigan and Alabama. Interesting.
Very, very, very interesting.
Number 15, USC. Not bad. Number 16, LSU. 17, Florida State. 18, Auburn. 19, Nebraska. Number 20, Washington State, who is playing. They're pretty hot right now. 8-2 record, Dream. Watch out for this team. Number 21, Florida.
Wait.
Yep.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm in agreement with you. Go ahead.
Number 21, Florida. Number 22, Boise State. 23, Texas A&M after losing to Ole Miss. Number 24, San Diego State. And number 25 is Troy with an 8-1 record. Their only loss being to the Clemson Tigers. Not a bad top 25. I'm kind of in agreement with most of this, to be honest with you.
No.
So I think we'll keep it moving and going from there, Dream.
Just think LSU at that 16 spot with the 6-3 to me. That's a little bit for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm weak with it, but you don't really care in that bunch. I think you move. I mean, the teams with one losses for most part. If you're going to go after the 15 mark, move them up to the 15 on down, and then move the other teams with 3 losses back down. That's what I would do. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really disrespecting. I get San Diego State and who they play, and I understand Boise State and who they play. But damn, and even Western Michigan, they are 10-0 though. You know what I mean?
Right.
You still got to beat who you play. So they could have moved Michigan State. I'm not going to go crazy. They could have moved Western Michigan up a couple. I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but that's just how I feel. Dude, and what's your situation as far as the Pack's concerned?
Oh, the Pack is a mess right now.
Yeah.
Because you got Colorado's got to play Washington State.
I know.
And this week, which is going to be an epic game. This is shaping up to be crazy. So, you know what? And, to be honest with you, Dream, the Pack, I know that we were discounting them this year, but they got some pretty solid teams if you look at it. Washington State, Colorado, Utah, and USC. They're all good teams. So, you know what? Hey, strength of schedule at the end of the day, they could get the nod to be in the playoff. Crazy how it sounds. So anyway, that's going to do it for that. Let's go over to the NFL. We have Monday Night Football to talk about, Dream, unless you got anything else as far as the collegiate slate is concerned.
Nothing else for me as far as the collegiate slate is going down. Just keep an eye on these kids because for some reason, this time of the year, trouble starts popping up.
That's where it is. So, and you know what? I got news for you. Clemson's got to go into Wake Forest this week. Why? Don't be surprised if that's a tight game. Wake's got an amazing defense. I mean, they kind of ran out of gas versus Louisville, but being in Wake, don't be surprised if Clemson, it's a little tighter than you think. So let's talk about tonight's game because we got a couple minutes left here. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals going into the New York Giants. It's a pick'em, Dream. There's no line on this game whatsoever. The total is 48 points. What's your thoughts on Cincinnati going into the New York Giants? Both teams average about 20 points apiece. What an ugly game, huh?
It's ugly. For some reason, though, I don't know. The under is screaming at me in this game. I don't know. I know that both teams average that many points, but I kind of, for some reason, like the under when I look at this game. I don't like what I've seen out of Cincinnati this season. Andy Dalton hasn't seemed to really been the Andy Dalton of regular seasons that we've known in the past. They've had a little bit. They've struggled with their running game. Obviously, no tight end play has been positive for them for the most part. Then on the flip side, you got Eli Manning, and this Giant team, I love them. I want them to get going. I see the talent there. I see everything there. But every time I see them play, I keep scratching my head and saying, dude, what do you see in this Giant team?
Yeah, right.
Because Eli just throws those it's like every quarterback throws interceptions, but Eli's timing and places in games, his spots when he throws them seems like they're like more emphasized than regular interceptions thrown by other quarterbacks.
Got it.
Would you agree?
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm looking at this here, and I do see that Victor Cruz is going to probably be out for this game. So I would expect Odell Beckham to get a bunch of touches and, get thrown to quite a bit.
Okay.
So, looking at it here as being a pick'em, Cincinnati, I don't believe is all that this year. I think that they fell off. I think they've actually taken a step down. And I don't see this team making the playoffs, to be honest with you. I mean, they are in a piss-poor division, to be honest with you. But I just don't know if I believe in this team. And going into New York, I believe the Giants are a better team than this. I'm surprised that the Giants aren't like -3. Wouldn't you think that they'd be like a field goal favorite here, Dream?
Yeah, kind of. I think you might be onto something with that synopsis.
Cincinnati's 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games on the road and 1-3-1 against the spread in the last 5 on the road. Where the Giants at home, I'm trying to look at some trends here as far as their home record is concerned. But, they've been pretty good. I just don't, offensively, don't you feel like they should be putting up more points?
I know, definitely. But like I said, Eli throws those interceptions at key spots in the red zone, as they're having a nice drive going down the field that stifles and stagnates the offense.
Yeah.
And then frustration sets in. Defense ends up giving up a score to the other team. I mean, I've seen the Giants in a couple of games that I thought they were going to have blowouts, and the games ended up turning into dogfights. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why is this even a dogfight? It shouldn't even have been. Listen, I'm liking the teaser. I'm liking Giants in the under. I'm liking the teaser. I'm liking Giants in the under.
So if you get that up to 55?
Yeah.
You get the Giants plus a touchdown?
I don't think Cincinnati's going to have a lot of success. I just don't. And I may be wrong. I just don't feel they're going to have a lot of success. I feel like Cincinnati's strong point right now is their defense, and the defense is kind of getting it together as it goes on. But then you look at Cincinnati's total yards. They do have 413 total yards in the season. But I don't know how. They got a sneaky yardage.
Yeah, right. And you know what? I just don't feel that Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati should be an underdog in this game. I'm not going to play the game. I'm looking at a couple of other things here. The overs have been coming to form with Cincinnati. 4 of the last 6, and 5 of the last 6 Giant games at home have gone over. But you know what, Dream? I'm going to let you kind of sit on the island by yourself on this one, and I wish you the best of luck if you get involved in it. But for me, just like last night, I didn't feel I needed to play, so I didn't. And right. I feel the same way here.
I don't love this game, and I don't, like I said, I still, I haven't really caught my legs with this NFL thing as far as, financially, the numbers have been very low. I mean, we're talking not a lot of money because it's not there. I'm hoping something's going to come wide open to me. Actually, I did kind of like Dallas yesterday as a money line, but I didn't get involved in it. But nevertheless, if I was going to play tonight's game, which I'm probably going to play, I think I'm going to probably tease the Giants and the under. I think it's going to be a big, high-scoring game. It's going to be relatively cold in New York, a little bit windy maybe in the stadium. It should be a little chill tonight, this evening. I expect, we're talking about Victor Cruz maybe not playing. I think I got him listed as questionable. I think he may give it a go, but that's right, he may not be in the lineup. So that's one of the offensive weapons for the Giants down. Cincinnati doesn't scare me offensively, and I think the Giants will pass rush will be able to get to Dalton a few times. And I think the Giants will find an ugly way to win an ugly football game. So I'm going to go with the Giants in the under.
What, 23-16, something like that?
There you go. Something something in that neighborhood.
All right, sounds good, man. So that's going to do it for us, Dream. Got a big week coming up and getting ready for it, brother. So what do you got to do to close out of here, my man?
No doubt. I want to thank everybody that's retweeted the show as usual. Monday Morning Quarterbacks, one of our favorite shows. I did this show a lot. I also like Saturday's show a lot because we get to talk about college football in depth. I mean, the NFL obviously is fun and the passion is there, but just some of the more fun topics for me comes on Monday Morning Quarterback because I get to talk about what I've seen over the over the weekend as far as that's concerned. Yeah. Guys, one more thing. I talked about this in the past. I don't know if you've caught this, but Stephen Van Pelt, who I don't really care for him necessarily, the show at night, though, they do the bad beat section. It's all about spreads, teams not covering spreads, and all recaps about how that didn't go down. And it's done in particularly entertaining fashion. If you haven't checked it out, DVR it or TiVo it or whatever you got there and check it out later because it is on late at night. So I get it if you go to bed, but if you want it, it's very entertaining and they put a nice touch to it. I kind of like it. Terrence Mack, Andy Jones, JDH24, my boy Urban, OJFB, Cash Action Bets, Jim Rome is a douche, Wayne Yarborough, Spot Bet, Jason Riley, C Rodriguez Jr., winning picks is out there. Mr. Marlin is in the house. Super Mario, Key MVU, Terry Bouchard, Rick Lopez, just to name a few. Gotta send a shout out to the lovely Tay Stevens, who, by the way, number 69 in the Super Contest.
Not bad.
Hack, number 69.
I know, I get it. I totally get it. But that's pretty impressive, though.
Very impressive on her part. Keep it going, baby girl. Thank you for coming on the show. Guys, I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day. You cannot get this time back. We'll see you Thursday.
And congratulations to the Yale Bulldogs as they won their first game in Washington, Dream. So, you know what? We're going to keep a close eye on this team. Obviously, Makai Mason is there. But they lost Brandon Sherrard and Justin Sears are gone. So that's why I didn't play that game. I'm just kind of looking at them to see where they're at. And, hey, maybe this team will go on their run. And I believe that the Ivy League is going to have a championship, conference championship this year. I think they changed that, Dream.
Okay.
So we'll kind of take a look at that and see where it lands. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there. Go easy. Do whatever it is you got to do whatever it is you want to do and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.